muy malo. Roto el pato de vestuario. La interpretación siempre negativa. Siempre negativa. Nunca positiva.
Hello, welcome to Siempre Positivo with me, Sam Marsden. A slightly different episode for you today, taking a break from our summer break to drop this chapter with Adrian Bialkowski from 9campnou to talk about his book, The Barcelona Football Guide, and the experience of coming to Barcelona as a supporter from outside the country, getting tickets, places to visit, etc, etc. And also to touch on the Poland boom, slightly experienced in Barcelona over the last 4 years with mainly Robert Lewandowski, now of the Chicago Fire, of course, but also more recently Tech Chesney, who is still here. Don't forget, we're also podcasting all summer until the season begins over on Patreon, where you can also join up as a free member for access to certain podcasts, or you can join up as a full member and listen to the various series on Barca's best model 11, for example. We'll see how that one ages in the coming months and years, and the season's episodes, which will restart in the coming weeks. Perfectly timed, actually, because they coincide with Jose Mourinho's seasons at Real Madrid, the first time ahead of his return to La Liga this season. In the meantime, let's get into it with Adrian. Adrian now joins me from Barcelona. How are you doing, Adrian?
I'm good. How are you, Sam? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, pleasure to be here. A podcast which I've wanted to do for quite a long time, since you brought out your guide to Barcelona games, to the Barcelona football experience. I think it's something which is really interesting especially for our listeners and subscribers. We often get obviously lots of questions about getting to Barca games, the atmosphere at the moment and stuff. So really looking forward to speaking to you about that, because I've had a glimpse of the guide and it is really good. There's some stuff that even I, as someone who's been covering Barcelona for 10 plus years here from the city and going to games, even I learned plenty of stuff from flicking through it. First of all, we'll just start with some pleasantries. How are you doing? How's the summer been? How have you been enjoying the World Cup?
Yeah, it's been good. I usually take a short break as soon as the season ends, and I go on a little vacation. So I skipped a lot of group stage of the World Cup, but I didn't think it was that interesting anyway, because of this new format when you have 4 teams in a group and then 3 of them will qualify. So the real World Cups started when the group stage ended, really. So I got a lot of this. I tried to watch every game, obviously, that I could. And as for the summer, well, I have trouble this summer in with fighting this heat that we have without any little breaks for at least 1 month right now. It's every day it's 30 plus degrees and it's really tiring me. So this summer is very weird because we don't have any cooler days to just chill and relax a bit. Every day is a struggle to get out.
I'm glad you've gone straight into the weather. I feel like you're like a Siempre Positivo veteran now, because I think there's been not criticism but banter, I guess, about how quickly sort of Rick or Tony or maybe myself sometimes gets into the weather updates around Barcelona, whether it's winter or summer or whatnot. So I feel very at home with you going straight to the heat, and I concur. It's been very hot in Barcelona. I went to Galicia last week and it was a welcome change to have that freshness in the mornings and at the end of the day, and perfect summer conditions really, as opposed to the sweat box of Barcelona. No Poland in the World Cup. Who were you rooting for? Were you rooting for Messi? Were you rooting for Barca's boys with Spain?
Yeah, so my 2 teams actually were Spain and Argentina. I have a really special connection with Argentinian people because I went there for the whole World Cup of 2022 in Qatar. So I spent an amazing month in Argentina, Buenos Aires mostly, 4 years ago. And I've been treated really incredibly by the people in Argentina. So I will always have them in my heart. But as soon as the final started, my heart immediately went to Spain. I'm sorry, Messi, but this was, I think, my first time cheering for the opposite team that Messi is not in. So it was a weird experience after supporting Messi for more or less 20 years of my life. But Spain is my country. I've lived here. Well, it's gonna be 11 years in November. So this is my country, and obviously half of the team is from Barca. So my heart went with Spain, and I'm really happy that they won, because in the end they were a much better team in this final.
Yeah, no, I agree. They were far better. We obviously touched on that with Rick and Tony earlier this week. Obviously, no Poland at the World Cup, and no Robert Lewandowski at Barcelona anymore. I mean, I can't imagine what it's been like for you, because I've been quite, I don't know if the word is taken aback. Maybe I'm being naive, or maybe I didn't quite realise the sort of following Lewandowski had and the support sort of he had back in Poland. Not just in terms of, obviously I knew he was, a national hero in terms of his career and stuff, but just, in terms of the amount of people that have sort of travelled, and the amount of Polish people that have been at Barcelona games. You go to any Barca game over the 4 years that he's been here, and there's been an incredible amount of support from Polish people at every game. So I guess it's been a crazy 4 years for you personally, having Lewandowski here and that sort of wave of sort of focus, especially in your career, and then also the addition 18 months ago of Tech Chesney.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we didn't expect it, because we've been waiting for having any football player in Barca for more than 120 years. So imagine, we've had our compatriots in other teams, Barca teams, like basketball, like handball, but no one in the biggest one, in the most important one for us. So the football one. And when he came, it was an absolute madness. I remember that everybody wanted to come to Camp Nou, also because it was the last season of our dear old Camp Nou before the demolition. And then everybody wanted to see Lewandowski, and then everybody wanted to see Lewandowski and Szczęsny at the same time, because many people just said, listen, this will probably never happen in our lives. We've been waiting so many years to have just one player from Poland, and now we have two on the pitch. And not to mention that we also have Eva Pajor in the Femení team. So I don't think such a situation will occur again in our lifetime. So everybody from Poland who had any money saved up tried to come to Barca game. It was like a patriotic thing to do, I guess.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? Like, is it because, for example, and it's obviously not a comparable example, but obviously, for me, from my line of work, to have an English player at Barcelona is sort of big news. And obviously Marcus Rashford doesn't have the profile in England and the profile as a player that Lewandowski has. But also you don't really see, streams of English people wanting to come to Barcelona just to see Rashford. I don't know if it would be bigger if it was, if it was Harry Kane, if he's perhaps comparable. But I don't think it would be. I'm sort of theorising in my head here. Maybe it's because obviously English fans are so much more sort of buried in the Premier League that they don't see it as such a necessary thing or a big thing to come to Barcelona to watch the players. I don't know if there's an element of that, or if there's a big Barca support in Poland, or if it's a combination of the things.
Yeah, so imagine that you had never any players from England in Barca, and the first transfer ever to Barca is, let's say, Gary Lineker. Now imagine how that would resonate in UK. So I guess this is the explanation for that. And also, like you said, for English football fans, you are so much more focused on your local teams, on English football in general. And we in Poland, we don't have the level of Premier League. We don't really have that many good teams. I mean, my hometown team, Widzew, hasn't played in Champions League since I was a kid. And we didn't really have any other teams in Champions League since then, maybe like 2 or 3 in 20, 30 years. So in Poland, when you want to see this top level football, you need to have a team abroad, you might say. And that's why many people have their own local team, but also they support a team from UK or from Spain or from France now. PSG is getting more and more popular. And this connected with the fact that Polish people travel a lot, especially during summer, because in summer the weather in Poland is very tricky. So all of these factors, they give you this result that we had a small Polish invasion for the last 4 years at Camp Nou and in Barcelona in general.
Yeah, definitely. Well, final comment on Lewandowski, given it's something that happened a couple of months ago now, but even from your point of view, I guess obviously amazing having him here. Are you able to step back and analyse his departure? Do you think it was time? Do you think he could have done another year?
Yeah, so I personally think that it was time for him to go. I feel that he might have stayed one more year if he accepted a secondary role, which my understanding is that he didn't want to accept, and he still thought that he's ready to still be the main striker of another team, which is obviously easier in Chicago than in Barca. So it was his decision, but also the timing of his of him leaving was, I think, very good. I mean, he left as Barca legend. We didn't really expect him to become one after only 4 years of being here, and also remembering that he came to Barca when he was already 34. So I think he exceeded our expectations, and being called a Barca legend by the official Barca accounts, social media accounts, and by ex-players and by coaches and so on, it was really an amazing thing for him to achieve. And also, the last season was really good. Barca won La Liga, Barca won Super Cup, but at the same time, you could see a small drop in Lewandowski's form. So maybe if he stayed one more year, it would be like a guest that comes over to your house and you have a great time, but then, he overstays his welcome a little bit, and then maybe the memories at the end would not be so great with Lewandowski if he stayed one more year. So all in all, I think he will miss Barcelona because it's the best place to live on earth. But it was an amazing farewell that we had at Camp Nou, and also the fiesta that he was a protagonist together with Wojciech Szczęsny. And we will all have such great memories that it was a perfect way for him to live on this note.
Yeah, I agree. I think the timing was right. I think most people agree the timing was right, and the picture you paint of the slightly perhaps overstaying if he's welcome if he'd stayed for another year, or perhaps might have happened and not tainted his legacy long term. But perhaps we've seen with legends in the past when they perhaps stayed 1 or 2 years too long, and the sort of fans not turn against them, but the feeling does change a little bit, doesn't it? So I think it was the right timing, and the send off, like you say, was not just the party but on the pitch as well. At the end of the season was perfect and fitting for what he'd contributed over the 4 years. Let's see if I can seamlessly link that into your book then, the Barcelona Football Guide. Tell us where the idea come from. Is it linked to Lewandowski? Was it something you always thought you wanted to do, or was the sort of, I guess, because obviously the book's available in English and Polish. I don't know if Spanish as well. I don't know if the fact that you had so much sort of demand for, match tickets, Lewandowski shirts. I remember a post on your Instagram once of, I don't know how many Lewandowski shirts there were that you'd gone into the club shop and bought to send back to Poland. I don't know if that was something that sort of triggered you in terms of writing this book, in terms of thinking, look, people are desperate for this information. I'm going to get it all down instead of replying to everyone individually and having to answer the same questions all the time.
Yeah, exactly like you said. So there were many factors included, and first of all, I'm just, I guess, a creative person, and I like to try new stuff, and I've never written a book. I was like writing and reading, but I've never written anything of this magnitude. So I decided to try, and also because I knew that it was something that people would like to actually read. And it turned out to be true because people are buying the ebook, and they are looking for this kind of information, because My social media account, 9campnou, is quite big right now. Over 230, I guess, thousand on Instagram, and closing to 500,000 on Facebook. And I get a lot of questions about coming to Barcelona for a game, and it's the same questions over and over again. So instead of trying to answer all of them, which is just not viable because I'm just one person and I cannot answer all of these questions, it's easier to just paste a link to my ebook, or paste a link to my blog, and tell someone, listen, this is what I know, this is what I try to explain, and this is the best of my knowledge, and you can find this information here, and if you like it, then great. And I hope that it will help you come to Barcelona for a game, and fulfill this dream, because I think that many people are kind of afraid. They don't have this information, and they think that coming to Barcelona for a game is complicated. That especially that the tickets part is very terrifying for some people, and it's really not. I mean, it's not cheap. It's very expensive right now because of the prices of the tickets, but it's not really that complicated if you know some of the rules that you need to follow, and how the whole system works. So this was my main motivation to actually take some time off in winter, when the weather is not that great. I mean, it was very rainy, so I just focused on writing this ebook. And in the end, it took me way longer than I anticipated. Because every time I cut off one head of this hydra that I started to fight with, another 2 or 3 topics popped up, and I was like, oh, I need to add this and this and this. And it took me, I think, 3 or 4 months to get it all on paper, and then to add the images, the graphics, and so on. But right now it's done, and I will still update the ebook, and I will still add some topics that I didn't include in the first version, and this second version will come out soon. But most of the job is done. So I'm really happy with that, because once it's done, it's there, and people can actually use it. And I get also the feedback from people who already traveled to Barcelona, and they said that they really liked it, and it made their trip easier.
Yeah, no, it really covers everything. Obviously, it doesn't just cover, like you say, getting tickets. It covers the whole match day experience, getting to the stadium, coming to Barcelona, where perhaps to stay, different areas, becoming a socio, things to do with that sort of side of things, even things to do with, people, I guess, often ask about, training sessions, meeting the players and stuff, which is obviously very difficult, but explains how that is possible, etc. But the stuff I liked as well was just, the other football spots in Barcelona, and we won't reveal where, but the secret viewpoint and things like that, which you can really build sort of a whole weekend, even a week around just doing sort of Barca and football things in the city, especially if it coincides with, back-to-back games, when you get that league game on a Sunday and Champions League on a Wednesday or whatnot. You could really build sort of a top few days around it, couldn't you, with this guide?
Yes. And many new places will be added in the future updates of the ebook. It's just that I didn't have capacity to cover everything, but I would like to also add a few non-Barca related spots around the city. Maybe something about our lesser known teams like Europa or San Andreu. Maybe not Espanyol, because we try to avoid this topic as Barca fans, but there's so many football history in this city that it's actually amazing. So many spots that I, of course, never mentioned in the ebook, but it's just impossible to add everything. But yeah, many. I have a list of spots that I would like to add, and Barcelona is not just Barca. Even though I think 90% of the city supports Barca, it's not just Barca, but there's also many spots around the city.
Yeah. Like you said before as well, a lot of people, I think, are surprised by I don't know if easy is the word, but it often comes down to the price now. I think people often come, where do you get tickets? And quite often for a lot of games, probably maybe not so much the big games, whether it's Champions League, Clásicos, Atletico Madrid, Copa del Rey semi-final or whatnot, can go just through the website. For example, we're recording Thursday, 23rd of July. I had a look at the website this morning for Barca's first 2 home games. The problem is not getting tickets. The problem is the price. The first home game against Athletic is priced, the cheapest tickets at about 250 for non-members. I don't know how much cheaper they are for members. The discounts vary. Sometimes it's quite high, sometimes it's not so high. And the Rayo game, the cheapest tickets are about 215 euros, I think. I mean, it kind of contrasts. You're obviously a season ticket holder, and if you're a season ticket holder, the price is not bad at all. The prices that are extortionate are for the people that are sort of paying match day prices. I don't know what you think of the pricing since Barca returned to Camp Nou last November.
Yeah, so you said the price is 200 plus. Right. So right now, if you're a Barca socio, the cheapest tickets are around 130 euros for the basic tickets, because there are different types of tickets: basic plus, VIP, and so on. But if you're a socio, it's around 133 euros for Athletic Club, and let's say Getafe, it's 10 euros more. But it's still very expensive. I'm not sure. I didn't do my research in this area, but I think these are the most expensive tickets in Europe, if I'm not mistaken, or one of the most expensive ones. And at the same time, like you said, the season ticket is still quite cheap. I mean, for my season ticket, I will pay around 750 euros for the whole season, and this one includes all of the games at Camp Nou, so Copa del Rey as well, Champions League and La Liga. So it's really hard to get a season ticket, and I have a special situation that allows me to do that right now, which I also explain on my not in my ebook but on my blog, how to get a season ticket, because it's a very complicated topic as well. But when you come to Barcelona and you need to spend 200 euros for just one ticket, and even if you are with a little kid, the kid also needs to have a ticket, even if it's a 2-year-old. Also, maybe you're coming with someone else from your family, it's another 200 euros, and all of this sums up to become quite a big amount at the end.
Yeah, like you say, there are, I mean, the discounts, the prices you just said there, you're looking at over sort of 100 euros at the moment in terms of being a soci. If you're going to 2 or 3 games a year, you're already making your money back on that, because soci fees are about 200 a year, right? At the moment, they've gone up a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's 240 something euros this year.
Yeah, but I mean, it's worthwhile. I mean, because obviously, like you say, it's very difficult to get a season ticket, which is incredible value. If you think of the value, and you're not, because you're going to every game, then you're a loyal fan. But if you think of the value someone could make off that 750 season ticket, you could potentially, 500 for a Clásico if it was at the right time and a big moment, and 500 for another Champions League game in some quarters if it was a quarterfinal or a semi-final, and then you've made a profit and you've gone to X games. So just to not to encourage touting, more just to explain how good the prices of the season tickets and how they're then balanced out, I guess, by sort of, I don't know if it's fair to say exploiting, but certainly charging, high prices to members and to non-members, because 130 for a member is still high for a one-off experience. Like you say, if you want to take your young son or your young daughter to a game, it can be difficult to have to fork out, 300 plus euros for the two of you. In terms of the experience as well, could you obviously explain a little bit about that? What are you getting for your money? Because we've spoke about this a little bit on the podcast, me, Rick and Tony. What have you made of the atmosphere at Spotify Camp Nou? Obviously it's changed. I feel it improved a little bit once the Granada came back, first the Atletico game, and then properly it has slowly improved. I don't know how you think it compares with periods in the past. I don't know if you remember one season or one sort of spell when it was particularly good, what you thought of the atmosphere at Montjuic, how you think it is right now at the new Camp Nou. Obviously, with the caveat that it's still a work in progress. We're still waiting for the third tier to open. We're still waiting for the roof. We're still waiting for, to have 105,000 people in there and to see what it's like then.
Yeah, so it's better than it used to be in our dark days of not having the Grada de Animación. I mean, the whole thing with kicking out your most vocal fans from the stadium was just ridiculous, in my opinion. I think it was one of the biggest errors of Laporta era that he had. He made this decision to just not have um, the most loyal fans, because everybody at Grada de Animación, so the fans who are leading all the chants and so on, and they need to be there really frequently, and like 90% of the games. If not, they are out and so on. So they are there at every game, and now and Laporta for some reason decided that they will and he will kick them out from the stadium. So it was quite weird, all this situation, and at times at Montjuic and Camp Nou, it felt like a cemetery. Really, there was no atmosphere at all, no ambient. I think we as fans suffered. The players also mentioned it, especially like Rafinha said that they feel that the atmosphere changed, and he even wanted to pay this fee that Grada needed to pay to come back, and they didn't want. I won't get into this detail, but you also go to the game, so you also notice how much of a difference it makes when they are there behind the goal. Well, now goal south. It used to be goal north. For some reason, they changed it, which I'm not sure why. But now it's not goal north anymore. It's goal south. Anyway, we're still waiting for the Camp Nou works to finish. So the atmosphere will be way different when it's finished with 105,000 fans, because right now we have around 64,000 capacity at Camp Nou, and also the roof will change the situation immensely, because we didn't have a proper roof at old Camp Nou, when there was only a tribuna that had the roof, and other sections of the stadium didn't have it. So now I think in terms of acoustics, it will be way louder than it used to be at the old Camp Nou. So I'm waiting for that. But I think in general now it's the atmosphere is quite good. Just had to remember that it's not the loudest, and never was the most loud stadium in the world, and it's just the stadiums in Spain are not that loud in general. I traveled to many stadiums throughout Spain, and don't really recall any stadium that was that I could compare to the atmosphere I've lived in, let's say Paris at Parc des Princes, or Frankfurt, let's say in Germany, or Dortmund. So these stadiums are way louder than Camp Nou.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of the thing that's missing in Spain compared to England is obviously a lot of the atmosphere in England depends on the back and forth between the home fans and the away fans. You have large away supports, and the kind of atmosphere is built between them, singing at each other or whatnot. So I'm always quite impressed when you do get good atmosphere, because a lot of the time it's just self-built by the home fans chanting and singing, and it's not to do with the away fans. I think quite often, sometimes, normally, because I'm probably going to games that are quite important if they're outside of Barcelona, and they usually involve Barca. So usually the home fans, whether it's a Levante or an Elche or whatnot, it's their big game of the season. They're a little bit more up for it, and the atmospheres in general are okay. But like you say, incomparable to some of the perhaps German stadiums or whatnot. On that Dortmund point, and just on the Grada, interested to see what you think. Obviously, the Grada de Animación at Barca it's under 2,000 people. I think 1,957, isn't it? Well, when it's fully open. They've still not quite fully opened it, I don't think. I think it was about 1,600 or something. Out of what will be 105,000 attendance, do you think they should have made that bigger, or do you think that's fine? Could have done the whole bottom tier, maybe? What would you have done?
Yeah, it's too small. It's too small, way too small. I think it should be at least 5,000 people in the Grada. And this would create a proper atmosphere at the stadium. But, the Grada pays very little money, and and it's way easier to sell these seats to tourists or to locals that don't really attend every game. So in terms of decisions, many of the decisions in the last years at Barca, not just sporting wise, but all of the in terms of organization, in terms of, let's say, even shutting down Barca One, which is the club television. They are financially related. So it is what it is, as our dear old Ronald Koeman used to say, as look I. So this is the situation we're in right now, and it's not going to change for the foreseeable future. So we just have to kind of get used to it, I guess. That we'll still be every year chasing the funds and new sponsorships and new ways to make money as Barca, because we are still struggling in terms of finances.
Yeah, but I mean, the situation on the pitch is much better than it's been for 6-7 years, certainly since Lionel Messi left, probably a little bit before Lionel Messi left. Don't know what your take is, how much optimism, how much their excitement is. You see, we obviously speak about it on the podcast, but more from a journalist, from a reporting point of view. You're obviously more on the ground in terms of at games with fans, more relationships perhaps with socies, etc. How are the vibes heading into the new season?
I just tweeted yesterday that I start to feel a bit worried about our summer window, because we were supposed to go all out and really do 2 summer windows in one, with huge money and huge transfers, and to rebuild the squad a lot, because there's still a work in progress, you might say, in this team. But then in the end, we only for now brought 2 new signings, and a lot of the stuff that we kind of see that's happening is just improvisation. There is no clear plan. Like, okay, we want to get Julian Alvarez, which is basically pretty much impossible, or very close to impossible, and I feel that there is no plan B. And this is how Barca operates nearly every summer, every winter. So they have a plan, and if that plan doesn't come to fruition for some reason, then we don't have a plan B or C or D. And everything is pretty much an improvisation at this point. So I don't feel very safe, well, in safe hands, you might say, with Laporta and Deco. But yeah, it's okay, like I said, and we'll see at the end of August what team we actually have on our hands for this.
Sempre negativa, eh? Sempre negativa.
Yeah. I mean, no, I actually this is also something that I tweeted, that I'm actually an optimist, and I don't really like to criticize the board or the players a lot. I try to be more of a fan right now, so than like a journalist, analyst looking for clickbaits and so on. So I'm a fan. I support Barca. I love Barca. It's been my club for I know, pretty much all my life, 30 plus years. But sometimes I see that the things that are happening are not, let's say, optimal, and there is some room for improvement in some areas, in many areas, I guess. So, like I said, I'm a bit worried. I'm still not very alarmed and not, depressed, because we didn't buy Julian Alvarez, let's say, or we didn't still by a central defender and so on. But at the end of summer, we'll actually have to take a look at the team and see if the window was a good one or not, especially when you leave, when you lose your first striker Lewandowski, and then maybe Ferran again, and the second striker, and you didn't bring anybody in their position. It can be tricky replace 2 strikers in one window. So we'll see how it goes with that. And you, what do you think? As a neutral, as maybe not a cool as me.
No, I always very much see the positives, not just because of the name of the podcast, just in terms of, I don't know, the variety. Like you say, I think it's hard to judge until we know exactly how the situation is when the window closes. If they do end up signing Julian, if Ferran leaves, if they add another centre-back, exactly how the sort of team shapes up. I do still think they need to do a little bit more business, but I don't know. I think, it's great fun. From a neutral point of view, it's been great fun having Hansi Flick here. One thing we didn't touch on when we've spoken about the atmosphere and stuff as well is just also the sort of energy having Lamine Yamal brings to the stadium. When you see him come on in games, when you see the fans that come, maybe I get a little bit carried away with Lamine, but you really do sort of feel that energy when he's playing. If he stays fit, if Pedri's fit, I think Kubasi on the back of this World Cup will probably get even better. I still have question marks over the pairing with him, perhaps fullbacks and that number 9 position, like you say. But I think Adeyemi and Gordon could surprise. I kind of lean into the idea that they're players that Flick wanted, so perhaps they will have a function. I guess it also then depends on, Rafinha being fit, if he stays, and what sort of role is planned for Gordon and Adeyemi. But I think the tools are there to have another good season. I mean, the Champions League is always going to be not a lottery, but it can always come down to, a semi-final defeat when you're the better team. Barca had them in the past under Guardiola against, Inter and Chelsea when circumstances got the better of them, yet they were still the better team in Europe. So I'm quietly optimistic that Barca can...
red card.
Red
card situation, which also happened to us every year pretty much. So
yeah,
it's a kind of a lottery, of course. One situation can change everything, the outcome of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll
agree.
assess it on September the 1st when we see how the window closes, or before, because I think there's still a lot of business to be done, like you said. But I think people will still be coming to games to see Lamine Yamal, to see Hansi Flick ball, to see Pau Kubasi, the best young defender in the world, to see Pedri, to see these players, which we'll bring it back to the Barcelona Football Guide. I don't know if you have an answer for this. It's a question that might catch you off guard. If we finish with 3 tips to someone coming for the first time, do you have them clear? Whether it's a way to get tickets, whether it's a place in the stadium to go, whether it's a bar to go to beforehand, whether it's something else to visit in Barcelona. What are your 3 essential tips?
3 essential tips. Okay. So first, visit Barca website daily or very regularly, because you never know when the tickets will pop up. If you sign up on the website, there is a small box that you can put your email, and then you should get an alert. But sometimes these alerts don't come to your email, so be prepared for that. Also, try to be patient, especially when it comes to El Clasico, because the tickets appear very, very late. Sometimes around 2 weeks.
That's a good one, because. Yeah. I think
so people
that
think that the tickets are already sold out when they were never in sale in the first place. So have to be patient.
But I understand it though, because people obviously have to book travel, and you kind of, if you really, really want to come to a Clasico or a big game, sometimes you have to take a leap of faith, because sometimes the tickets won't become available until the days before the game. And obviously you have to be prepared to spend, but they often do come available even the day before the game. Sometimes they'll come on the site.
Exactly. And the third tip, which is essential, is that all the matches are basically scheduled for a Sunday. So if you look at the games in November, it says normally it would say that the game is scheduled on Sunday, but it can be moved. The final kickoff day and hour are announced around a month before the game. Sometimes it also depends.
A month at best.
Yeah. So just try to remember that you're not coming for a game on a Sunday or a Saturday. It can be both. Sometimes even it can be on a Friday or a Monday, but this is very rare. So most of the games happen on Sunday or Saturday. So just keep that in mind when booking your flights, especially, and hotels, because you might miss the game just because of that. So
Yeah, I can't remember Barca playing on a Friday recently. I know Real Madrid had a couple this season around their Champions League games, but I usually say, come Saturday morning, especially sort of when it's in the Champions League games, because, Barca will usually play on the Saturday afternoon or evening. So come the Friday or the Saturday morning. And I usually say as well, be prepared for the game to be at any time on the Saturday or the Sunday. But like you say, there are increasingly Monday games. Barca have one against Rayo Vallecano at the end of August the 31st on Monday night. So you kind of have to book Friday to Tuesday, and then you're guaranteed to get to the game and not end up missing it.
It's at least one Monday game per season.
Yeah,
which can really mess up with your plans if you only try to come for the weekend and, let's say, take a flight back on a Monday morning, right?
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. But it's it's a matter of luck.
And
sometimes you just need to be very lucky.
Finally, where can people get the guide, and where can they follow your accounts on Instagram and Facebook?
Yeah, so it's very easy. My account is 9campnou on Facebook, on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and my website is 9campnou.com. So come there. There is a lot of free knowledge also, not just the ebook that you need to pay for. And just come and take a look, and I'm sure that you will get some help in coming to Camp Nou this or next season.
Yeah, like I say, and I'm not just saying this, I wouldn't just say it, but there is lots of interesting and useful information there to help you plan any trips to Barcelona games, to see Hansi Flick's historic treble winners this season as they win everything.
Yes, of course. Let's hope so. And
there we go.
And also
that's ending on Siempre Positivo.
Yeah. And thank you very much for your kind words, Sam. And thanks for having me. I think it's my first time in your podcast, so it was fun to be here.
Yeah. We tried. I think we've talked about doing things before, but never got around to it based on Lewandowski or Chesney or different things.
Yeah, this is what happens sometimes.
First time.
I'm also, a podcaster. It's just my podcast is in Polish, but that's why I won't invite you for this reason. But yeah, I know how it is. It's just that sometimes you want to have someone on, and then it takes forever to actually schedule a date.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we got it done, and thanks for coming on.